right, folks, welcome back to the podcast. My name's Ted Stoven. He is Dustin Edwards, and this is episode number 157, if I didn't already say that yet. But CFR is in the books. The PBR Canadian finals are this week. Dustin, you were in Sylvan Lake this past week. We got a really big guest this time. The Oilers, since we talked to our guest, have fired their head coach. Not sure about that move or not. I guess we'll see. They're currently tied right now with the Islanders. Monday Night Football is upside down. I'm surprised that Denver's beating the Bills, but sports are just a little bit weird right now, I guess, Dustin.
Sports are weird, but the big news is the Oilers shake up, and our guest is a big Oilers fan. So we talked about the Oilers and what was going to happen, and now a lot has transpired since then. So,
Man,
be interesting to see.
Okay, what are your thoughts quickly on that? Like, what are your thoughts on them shit cannon Woodcroft? Like, I wonder.
You know what? You could, if you coach the Oilers, Ted, the goalie would still let in bad goals. They have too many holes in their team on the ice. It doesn't matter. I don't think who's standing on the bench. It's not going to change. So I think this is more on management, and they haven't addressed the gaps. But this guy's never coached in the NHL at the head coach level. He's been an assistant coach. Talked to a few guys that said he was awesome in the Western League and then out in the OHL. He coached in Kootenay, then obviously the AHL, and he was Connor McDavid's coach. So there's obviously a reason they went after him, even though they're not saying it was for Connor. It's probably quite evident. But yeah, be interesting to see what happens here.
I really liked Woodcroft. And just the inconsistency in coaches and like all of their, what would you say? Like all of their systems would be different every time you have a different coach. Like to relearn a system and try a new deal, like it seems to me like it's unnecessary to keep starting over on that side.
Yeah, they just need to address the holes that they've had with goaltending, defense. So it's, and at some point it's on the players too, but yeah, I think that the management, I think that's where the hole is right now. They need someone that can go in there and address their concerns and make something happen. You're wasting the years of two of the best players in the world's careers right now. So,
but they already have. Like they wasted them with Chiarelli,
yeah.
and they're wasting them now. Like any year they don't win could be a waste, but every year that they are going, though, at the same time, like every year they're going, the other side of those takes so long to build a team properly after, like, because you're not building a team in November. You're building your team in the
No,
summer and in the off season, and they didn't do
they're
fuck
not going
all
to
this.
they're not going to trade their way to a cup.
No,
No.
no, not now.
So
It's in the rumor, or it's not. So, but I don't think it was Woodcroft, but I don't know.
he's the fall guy anyways.
He's the fall guy. Anyways, moving on to more things important to our listeners. CFR, I thought that was the best CFR in Red Deer in the entire time it was there.
Yeah, they finished with a bang. It was a really good week. Rodeo was good. The crowds were good. I think they should have been really proud with how it all finished. It was, from my vantage point, I thought it was exceptional this year.
What was a highlight for you on the CFR? One thing, a couple things you take away from the week.
Uh, I just thought that it was good to see such parity amongst the competition. Like I mean, obviously, like a Zeke winning a title is not a shock, but I thought that there's just so many good stories and good battles, and you've seen rookies do well, and different people win the finals average versus winning both. So I just like when there's such good competition that it makes it such a race coming into the final day. So, I think like Blake Molly is a rookie, is really good there. That Carly Cowie wins the average in the barrel racing. So two rookies really shone there. So I just thought like things like that was really cool. And I thought like Edgar Durazo in the bull riding was one of the best performances I've ever seen at a CFR in the bull riding. And that was fun to watch too. So
The what was I gonna say? One of the things I really enjoyed about the CFR this year was doing the broadcast, the radio broadcast. I hadn't done that in quite a few years, and I texted him. I was like, "Hey, do you guys want me to help you out for the bull riding?" And so I really enjoyed doing that personally. But I just love seeing everybody around there. I thought it was so good to see like such a full crowd and just see it be, full beer gardens, full cabaret. The trade show seemed like it got busier as the week went on. I thought it went really well overall, so I was glad that it worked out. Glad it went
Yeah, I
well.
think I think everybody recognized the fact that it's the last one in Red Deer, and everybody embraced it. And it was just there was just everything about it was really well. And yeah, the crowds help. And yeah, it's a great time. Me and Dave did the Cowboy Channel, which was a lot of fun
Yeah,
this year. And
absolutely.
and uh, yeah, I think everybody all around that was working or part of it. Production side and your side and my side, and nobody had anything bad to say this year, so it was great.
The only bad comments I heard was people mad that it was going back to Edmonton, which I was kind of surprised by. I was like, I had one guy come up on Sunday and he was like, "Tell me how bad of an idea it was to go to Edmonton." I was like, "I'm sorry, but I didn't make the call. I'm sorry, sir." Like he's like, "Oh, I'm not going." I was like, "Well, thanks for caring enough to share, but like I didn't ask and I don't know what your point is, but thanks for telling me, I
You know, it's
guess."
funny. I'm standing in the pizza line. There's a little pizza joint on the
By your
concourse.
booth?
Yeah, it's the best pizza. And there was a guy probably three people down from me, and I don't know if Bronk was in line and heard this conversation, but same thing. Like a slice of pizza was like $7, so it's like still pretty reasonable. And I heard a guy behind, and he's like, "Wait till next year. That thing's gonna cost $15 when we go to Edmonton." And he was making a big scene with his buddy. And I'm thinking, like you're right. There's a lot of people that said, we finally got it good here. Like, why are we leaving? So
The
it's
sorry, go ahead.
it's the same people who were probably complaining the first year it was in Red Deer, saying it's not like it was in Edmonton. So who knows?
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how it all goes. Hopefully it's a good. We'll see.
Tip of the hat to Westerner Park. They finished it off.
100%.
They did a great job to finish it. So
And hopefully a lot of the same team involved ends up moving forward going to Edmonton. Like I hope that they keep some of that crew together because they did an amazing job and I hope that it goes that way and a lot of that team moves forward. We'll see, but everything's up for grabs. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But hey, I got to go back to one thing in Red Deer. Before the week, I predicted that well, I kind of had a bit of a beef with Lonnie Phillips talking to Dakota about turning out, and I said I didn't know if he was going to ride any bulls, but he did stay on one. So kudos to Lonnie for staying on one and getting to check that last day. So prove me wrong. And I was a little bit aggressive with that prediction, and I wasn't trying to be rude. I was trying to like stand up for Dakota a little bit. So I gotta eat my hat on that one. I was wrong. But
I was also wrong too. And when I bet against Zeke winning the title, and then he bucked off, in the first night, and I thought the door opened, and then he proceeded to slam it shut again.
yeah, the he did slam it shut. That's for damn sure. Won 3 rounds in a row. The I was also wrong on Coy. I thought Coy was going to do well, and I don't think did he. Oh, he must have rode a couple. He at least rode
He
one.
rode his last two bulls, I think.
Okay, yeah, so he rode two, but like I was way wrong on that one. So, um, both of our bold predictions were very boldly wrong.
Yeah, I predicted Jake Gardner.
Oh yeah, what was my other one? I forgot what my second one was. I don't remember now. Must not have been
I
very.
had everyone we picked it horribly. I picked Bo Cooper in the tie-down opening. I don't think he caught a calf till about round 4.
Round 4, and then I think you might have won the round. But yeah,
Yeah,
anyways. Okay, moving on from CFR. What should we get to? This week, for me, PBR Canada Finals. You just came from Sylvan Lake. You want to talk about that quick, or should we get right to this next week coming up? There's the one thing I got to get to is Oaten Agribition. They got some bullfights this week too. I want to get to that, but we also have the album review. Should we do that as kind of a precursor to the show?
yeah. Let's do it.
And we'll wrap up the other stuff after that. Okay,
Yep.
cool. So this week's guest, for those of you tuning in, Brett Kissel, Canadian country music artist. He's been on the show before. I worked with his one of his managers in Red Deer at the CFR. He was managing the stage and the artists and all that. So anyways, great to have Brett on the show. But he gave us an idea at the end of the show where he said we should review albums. So there's some. I think we've kind of talked about this a little bit before. There's a bit of a music theme on the show. Ned Ledoux, Aaron Watson, Kissel, Corblund, Coulter Wall. so far, right? So maybe there's some more musicians coming down the pipe at some point, don't know. But the album review was a cool idea. So Brett has his current project, the Compass project, his current work, and the latest that we just talked about here was the West album. So Dustin, do you want to kick off kind of some of your thoughts on the West album after checking it out?
Well, yeah, because it was cool because it was after we finished recording where Brett was like, "Man, you guys are like, you're in the cowboy world, and like you're rodeo people." And like he's like, "I really think this will appeal to them." And we didn't say it on the air, which I was like, after the fact, I'm like, we should have said that. But so then of course I'm like, well, okay, I'm gonna go listen because maybe he's just dangling the carrot, so we talk good about it. But then I went and listened to it, and it was like, damn, this is like an old kind of school country album, which,
Yeah.
if you're a Brett Kissel fan, he's been very commercial the last, probably 7 or 8 years, and he's had big hits, and they're
Yeah.
very like radio friendly and commercial, and the now style of country where it's what's hot. And I thought, like, man,
And
this is like,
probably what works with the record. Like probably some of the stuff
yeah,
you like, some of these guys have to do to be part of their deals almost, right? Like I don't know the whole inside and outside of the business, but
yeah.
interesting.
So, I thought that, oh, I'll have a listen, and I put the whole record on while I was at work, and I put it on shuffle, and man, all of a sudden I was like, these feel like George Strait songs, or even, almost like that Corb feel, where it's like, I'm going
Yeah.
to talk about oil and cattle and Alberta, and playing crib, and actually these are the titles of like some of the songs, right? So um I just thought it was really a really cool album. I'm a huge like 90s country fan. I love the old George Strait sound, steel guitar, and that just wholesome country. And I thought that, geez, this is like one of the first guys I've heard in the modern era that's really tackled this. And he spoke to that he wanted to do that. And I thought he hit it out of the park with exactly how he described it was exactly what I heard. So
I was uh took a quick listen on here as well, but like really a fan of Missing You in San Antonio is the number one track on this record, but it's got a really cool sound and not anything that sounded anything like anything I've heard from Brett before. I remember listening to him one time. Uh, it was like it was a River City Roundup event in Edmonton, I believe, during the CFR in the early 2000s. I think that Danny Hooper and maybe Corb were playing, and Kissel was there. Maybe this was at a black tie bingo thing, but remember like Kissel singing like an old school like Tennessee Ernie Ford song, like the one 16 tons. That song like really really old school. But he was singing that one. So another one on this West album is the what is it called here? Behind Closed Doors. So he covers the Charlie
yeah,
Pride Behind Closed Doors. So there's some cool stuff on this one, and I would say it's hinting at the authenticity side. I don't know how commercially successful it'll be for him. Um, Unfortunately, I don't know because what do you know these days on what's going to work or not? But
I think mainstream radio will shy away from that type of music anymore. But if you're like a country music fan, like old school country, and you like the lyrical content about, Alberta and cattle and what I call small town rural vibes, this is something that you're gonna put on and enjoy. And it's funny when you're talking about, like, I remember, so Brett would be 2 or 3 years younger than me, but I can remember when I was about 18 or 19 working an event in my hometown of Big Valley, and Brett was playing there with Danny Hooper, and it was like when he wasn't even on the radio yet, really. He was just like a young kid, like he'd been like 15 or 16, and he
yeah,
used to go and play with Danny at these like legions and community halls and stuff. And I remember back then him singing these songs about like calving time and being on the farm with his grandpa. And I'm thinking, like, when I heard him come out, 10, 15 years later with like all these like big songs like Airwaves and things like that, where it's like, man, that's the guy who was singing about calving with his family and the Big Valley Hall in 2008. But I feel like he's almost gone back to that, but it's obviously way more polished and drawing from all his inspiration. So it's just a really cool album to listen to.
well, and pretty neat that the Compass project, spanning over quite a timeline already now. Like, so one of the biggest hits so far in the Compass project is Ain't the Same with Brett Kissel and 98 Degrees, which is kind of wild. Another good one, Never Have I Ever, so far. Those are both from the South album. But then the East album, it's kind of like he mentions it in the show here, where he's talking about kind of the East Coast vibes, where the South is kind of the Nashville stuff. So these ones are really country and Western. And then he has another one coming up with that's like the North Star. So anyways, hope everybody enjoys the show with Brett and enjoys some of the new music. So we'll get to the interview with Brett and talk to y'all again in a bit.
Take that one last straw, put it in a glass. Too much work, boss man can kiss my ass. Not give a damn's empty, so I'm filling up my cup. Hell yeah, that makes two of us. Spend it all night, spend it all our cash, singing songs we all know, making friends we never had.
All right. Well, welcome to Cowboy Shit Podcast, Dustin Edwards and Ted Stoven. We're really excited to be joined by this week's guest. He's now a 22-time CCMA award winner, 3 Juno Awards, so many certified albums, platinum records. I don't know where this resume will stop, but more importantly, just released the third part of a 4-part Compass Project album on November 3rd, and we're so excited to welcome to the show, Mr. Brett Kissel.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. Like, holy, what a great intro. I mean, a lot of it is, I mean, this is the Cowboy Shit Podcast. I'm sure a lot of that is bullshit, but I mean, it sounds good. So thanks for the intro, fellas.
Came right off your website, man.
Well, hey, whatever the managers put on there, it's that, you know, I haven't been counting. I can tell you that for free.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's pretty darn good at 33, Brett. You've sure put together a very impressive career, and we know it's just the start. So congratulations on all the success, and this project seems pretty darn exciting. It looks like it's been a crazy year for you.
It's been a great year, one that I'm really grateful for. I learned a lot of great lessons, and probably had one of the best summers, if not the very best summer of my life. Just a wonderful balance between time with my family and soaking in all this time with our little kids, and then also having some great gigs and traveling across Canada. Like, it really was a phenomenal summer. And so for me, I'm very, very grateful for all of that. And when you talk about the third record that is part of this Compass project, there's one platform, which is the Cowboy Shit Podcast, that I was really hoping that we'd have a chance to have a conversation. And the reason why is because when we had spoken, over a year ago, it might've been 2 years now, during COVID, last time we spoke.
February 21.
Yeah. So when we had spoken last time, I might have said at that time, or maybe I was just thinking, that I always wanted to do a truly authentic Western record. And I finally did that. And that's what the West album is all about on this Compass project that just came out last week.
You also said you were going to get on a bull sometime, but that has yet to happen, as far as I know.
I'm still going to do it. Absolutely. I got to figure out, as long as I can have the neck brace and neck brace and the hockey helmet. That's what my wife says I have to do. So,
well, I will admit, Brett is a man of his word when he challenged, because we were just talking before the show started that back when I was with the Drumheller Dragons, Brett had mentioned about wanting to put on some goalie pads and come out to a practice. And not only did you come out to the practice, you said, like, boys, don't hold back. And you were taking, 95 mile an hour slap shots from these junior guys. A few of the guys who've gone on to play professional now, or at some, high collegiate level. So you don't back down from a challenge.
Well, maybe it's kind of that crazy goalie mentality that all goalies are a little bit loopy, but I played hockey as a little kid. But I love when we would play all these junior hockey barns, like we did in Drum, or I did in Brooks here just a little while ago. In Brooks, I didn't get a chance to skate or anything like that, because we were actually on the ice surface. But that's something that I really loved to do. And I always was the guy who would play net, because everybody else plays forward and then you don't have a goalie. So I'd rather just have guys take up at the blue line or the center line. And that way I get all the action. And it's another great thing, if you think of the psychology of having a band and a crew, you're living together with, 14, 15, 16 guys on the road for almost the better part of a year while you're on tour. So what better way for them to let off a little steam than to fire some slappers at the boss? So there's some psychology to it too. But yeah, it was fun. Yeah, your boys were they were bringing the heat, and it was fun to stop a few of those.
And then I remember, I think the clip of you made like a legit like 5-bell save on a guy, and the clip ended up on an Oilers broadcast on Hockey Night in Canada or something like that, didn't it?
It was. So the story is, for all your listeners, is that as we were wrapping up this practice or whatever, just this fun practice, I said, Kate, every guy, like, we're going to do an elimination. If I stop you, you got to go back into the dressing room. Well, the first 12 guys went and it was score, 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 score. So I said, okay, well, this isn't any fun. Let's just take your top 10 and some kind of challenge or whatever. So one guy dipsy doodles around me, but I ended up I lost my stick and I was out of my, dangled out of my tree, and I still made the save. So that was the one of 20 saves that I'd made in the shootout. And of course, when Ron McLean and those guys asked if I ever play hockey, I only send them one clip, and it's that one. So it was pretty fun.
It was highlight reel. I'll never forget that. That was cool.
So Brett, you actually remember the date of that, and was that it's making me wonder, like, what your memories like on the tours and different events that have happened over the years. Like, I wonder, was that a specific thing because it made the Hockey Night in Canada broadcast, or was that, like, is your memory like a date oriented kind of
yeah, very very much a date oriented, yeah, for sure.
Really?
I know I've got a good memory. I'm really proud of that. But like my brother and both my grandpas have incredible memories. Like my grandpa Kissel, before he passed away, would be like, yeah, remember it was April 1st, 1973. We bought those heifers, and yeah, it was X amount per pound, and and Jens Jorgensen came with me there, and we stopped by Gary Wasenko's for a drink of whiskey, and it's like it's 100% to a T. And all the Kissels, like I'm saying, all the Kissels have a memory like that. My cousin Mo, my uncle Alan, my dad, me. So it is very much about the dates. So if I can remember the date, then I can remember what we were doing. If I remember what we were doing, it's just kind of a cool thing to have in your back pocket.
So what about the football behind you? What is it? What's the date on it?
That one was from February of 2020, February 22nd. I was down in Pittsburgh, and I did a really unique event with Brett Kissel, and Brett is the star defensive lineman for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he won 2 Super Bowls with them. And he and I get tagged in each other's tweets and Facebook and Instagram messages daily. Brett Kissel is always tagged in Steelers stuff, and Brett Kissel is always tagged in country music stuff. So I sent him a DM one day and I said, I got to get to know you. So he fired back and he said, well, come down to Pittsburgh. So I hung out with him in Pittsburgh, and TSN and Bar Down Sports produced a special called Gridirons and Guitars, where he taught me how to be an NFL superstar for 3-4 days. And on those same days, I taught him how to write songs. So the two of us, which I'm little Brett and he's big Brett, I'm 5'7", he's 6'7". So it made for some good TV.
That's really cool story. Well, I have to admit, the fact that you can remember all that, now that you've got a celebrity to yourself and you go so many places, it must make people feel pretty special when you can, when you can remember them from different things or different events. Like, that must make people feel pretty good. Hey?
Well, I know that it does, because I know it makes me feel good. I ran into, I know it sounds name droppy, but I'm going somewhere with this, is that Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood have the 2 best memories in the country music business. And I've seen it firsthand, how Garth will come to Edmonton and he'll remember something that happened in 1996, and the organizer of that event, and the organizer is his kid's birthday. So he remembers that it was his kid's 10th birthday. So if his kid's 10th birthday was in, 1996, it means they're born in 1986. So therefore, now that we're back there in 2016, well, it means that clearly, this kid is, going to be turning X years old. So it's so interesting how he can do that. And I watched him do that on this tour. And when I ran into Trisha Yearwood at an event in Nashville, she asked about my grandparents. So she knows probably how I'm doing through Instagram or what have you. But it doesn't matter how I'm doing. If she really wants to get to know me or really get to my heart, the psychology of meeting and talking to people is to ask about somebody that matters to you. So if she, with her asking how my grandparents were, who met her backstage, that was really, really special. And she knew that grandpa was going through some health challenges at the time. So to say, how is his health doing? That's a wonderful, wonderful thing. So for me, I'll remember the conversation now with you, Dusty, about like, hey, you just started working with the Flames and everything. Like, how is that going? I'll remember now 2 years later, I'll say, you're 2 years into your work with the Flames. How's it going? Tell me about it. And you'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe you remembered that. But I feel it's important to remember these details. It's because you're aware. It's because you care. So I've learned a lot from Garth and Trisha in that regard.
That's a really cool story. Yeah, that's really neat, and that's I respect that about you. That's really neat.
Well, thank you.
Well, and so further on to that point, in the tour, what are some memorable dates on the tour that you just had this year?
Well,
there events too. I guess you've got your guessing kids and anniversary on the arm too.
Exactly. Yeah, my kids' birthdays are on my arm. There were a bunch of really cool events that we did. When I played the Grand Ole Opry in April, that was really, really special. We had a bunch of friends and family come down for that. And I've played it now, 10, 12 times. And so that was just really, really cool to be back at the Opry. Was there again in September. So it's when you get to play those gigantic stages that have so much meaning associated with it. Don't get me wrong. It's pretty special when I still get to play in Lloydminster. I get to play at the CNE in Toronto. I played the Tweed Stampede, the rodeo in Tweed, Ontario, and that was a party. Like, that was so fun and so good. But yeah, like it's those big moments that I don't forget because they have so much weight and they mean so much to me and the people that I bring to these shows.
What about the little moments and the fun stuff that happened on the road or the wrecks in the travel? Like, there's got to be some fun ones like that too.
Well, that's what it's all about. I mean, any rodeo cowboy that you talk to, I mean, sometimes the best stories and the best times are what happens, once the rodeo is done and everybody's got a Ryan Coke in their hand and they got a red Solo cup and they're hanging in some guy's trailer. And before you know it, a card game breaks out and you have a lot of fun in that way. So a lot of my favorite moments are with the band, and it's when we laugh. And sometimes because we're just a bunch of characters, you don't know what's going to make us laugh. Sometimes we're just delirious because we've been up for 36 hours straight and everything is funny. But we had a good one in Italy when we were on tour there. We did a tour for United States Army, the Canadian Army, and stuff like that. And we were actually robbed, and our two vehicles were broken into while we were at dinner, and they stole everything. All of our luggage, all of our gear, everything. And we were just like a half a block off base. So our liaisons from the American military, like, nobody, screws with the Army. We're good. And yet, famous last words, both of our vehicles were smashed and our 15 passenger vans and everything was stolen. I'm talking $250,000 worth of gear gone. But through a wild circumstance, we have Apple AirTags. And without giving you this, the 4-hour version of this story, the Apple AirTags pinged in a nearby village, to which the military police and the Carabinieri were like, we know that community. That's like full mob territory. So they went in guns a-blazing. And Tyler, my fiddle player, and my stage manager, James, like, they just went into this guy's house, like, knocked down, no warrant or none of that shit. No red tape, just like the Apple AirTag says it's in that house. There's like full-on Yellowstone Rip Wheeler shit. They knocked down the door, guns a-blazing, get on the ground, and Tyler's like, that's my wife's backpack. And Tyler's like, there was a brand new Ziploc bag full of brand new Brett Kissel picks scattered all over the floor. He's like, those are our picks. Oh my God, that's my fiddle. That's Brett's guitar. Like, so we retrieved all this stuff. And when we got back to the hotel, and Tyler and the military police are bringing back our guitars and all of our merch and our backpacks and our passports and all that shit, we got so drunk, like we won the Stanley Cup. Like, we canceled all our shows. That was show number 1 of a 4-show run. over the course of 9 days, we have to cancel the other 3 shows because we had no gear. And then we have to rebook them because we retrieved all the gear. We retrieved all our shit back. So, I mean, that's a memory none of us will ever forget. And that's a hangover I'll never forget either, because the hotel lobby bar just stayed open. And then we got all this stuff back. I mean, we drank till 9 a.m.
Jeez, what a
Yeah.
it's a wild story.
That wasn't.
And we drank with the cops too.
Yeah.
The cops, we drank with them too.
Oh,
They're
man.
because they were off shift, and we had the translator, and we're drinking limoncellos, and they're like, play this game and say this before you drink. And like, oh yeah, we put in a shift.
Oh.
That's a wild story.
I know.
Have you getting back out on the road and getting busy? I mean, obviously the pandemic was tough on rodeo and athletes and music and all that stuff. Have you changed the way you tour? Do you appreciate a little more after sitting stagnant during all that?
Absolutely. I love it more than I've ever loved it. I'm more grateful than I've ever been. I'm more excited than I've ever been. And me and the band, we really prioritize this one word, joy. What brings us the most joy? Is it these songs? Is it this moment? What is it about touring that has been so hard and so difficult and gets guys so run down? Why don't we reverse engineer it? And why don't we prioritize joy? What is going to give us the most joy? And so we felt that another great gig this year was in Strathmore, because Strathmore was a gig that we had booked prior to COVID. So finally, when this happened and we ended up playing, their big party there, June 24th and June 25th, it was phenomenal. And I tell you, we made up for lost time. It was the show of the summer.
Those guys were pumped about the event too. The Strathmore crew, they do the Cowboy Town concert, they're calling it now, and it's like I think they're 3 or 4 years into it maybe. And you did this year, and they got Clint Black next year. Similar kind of timing, but those guys, the Strathmore crew's doing a good job. And it sounded like you guys had a kick-ass show, and you sold lots of whiskey too. Like it sounded like it went awesome. Yeah,
we had like 4,000 people there, so that was awesome. I think that they had made plans for about 1,500, and they sold 1,500 in like the first day. So they're like, oh shit, like we're in for one. So it's great. My buddy Brandon Lorenzo was a great opening act, and so just the stars aligned. And Brandon
CFR on Wednesday.
That's right. Yeah, he played at the Cabaret.
Yeah, I'm gonna get him some of our stuff. Actually, he was wearing a Montana Silversmith buckle, so I had to. I was like, "Hey, where are you from?" He's like, "Airdrie." I'm like, "Oh, our warehouse is in Airdrie, so I'm gonna get him. One of our new buckles."
Cowboy shit buckle.
All right on.
Yeah.
Oh,
he was already
great.
wearing Montana. I was like, I gotta update that for you, man. Yeah.
Well, you've done such a great job with the podcast and building a great brand. Like, as I love branding, and I love, how one can diversify their business. And when you can create a brand like that, especially in a wonderful market that is the rodeo and the Western way of life and the cowgirl way of life, I think it's awesome. And I don't know if you've started cowgirl shit, but you should trademark that, and you should make those hats too.
Oh yeah, our best-selling hat is a cowgirl shit hat.
Perfect.
And we do have the marks. It's already in the works.
Good.
Oh, okay, but branding. So how's the Deuce vodka business? I see it in the stores, different places. I haven't asked about that lately. How's the vodka business?
It's been amazing. So we've also spread our wings, and we've started a few other brands too. So Deuce Vodka is our premium brand. When we started with that, one of our challenges is that we really thought as a company that a local premium vodka was going to do really well. And even though it did, and we were in 400 stores real quick, if you have a $40 vodka, and granted, we wanted it to be $25 to $27, but every liquor store gets to choose their price. So when you have a $40 vodka, people aren't buying that every weekend. They're buying that at Christmas or for a 25th anniversary. It's unless you really have a true affiliation or a love for Tito's or Grey Goose, most people just buy the cheapest, and the restaurants buy the cheapest for the well, and you just need something to mix with Caesars. And also, just because I'm a Ukrainian and I can drink vodka straight doesn't mean anybody else does. So with that being said, we realized that might have been a misstep. So Deuce Vodka is still doing well, but the part of the company that is doing the best is our brand called Backcountry Vodka. So that it's an economy vodka, and it's in a plastic bottle. That is the cheapest vodka in the province. but it's really, really good. We don't do all the special things that we do with Deuce for backcountry, but we don't need to. So that's really great. We just invested in a brewery in Nanaimo, BC. We just bought a vineyard in Nova Scotia, and we've launched a new vodka there called High Seas Vodka. We're launching a vodka in New Brunswick. So we're basically, our plan now is we're doing a local vodka in every province.
Oh, wow.
Is what we're going to do. That way we can also take advantage of local tax breaks and stuff like that. So that's the plan, and it's been amazing. Thank you for asking.
What else are you working on business wise? I gotta go. I got a couple of things I want to get back to, but what else are you guys working on besides that?
We've got a hangover remedy that we're creating right now. So that'll launch in 2024. We've got the name for it. I'm really proud of it. It's called Hero Shot, and our tagline is Save the Next Day. And the best part about it is that morning recovery is the only one available in Canada right now, and morning recovery is really good, and it does work. We've now been able to take a lot of those ingredients and enhance it. We've got an extraordinary food scientist out of the University of Saskatchewan named Rick Green, who has created this is the healthiest drink you can drink. It's full of Japanese raisin tree and milk thistle and everything that essentially repairs your liver. DHM is an incredible compound. So Hero Shot is really important. Then also we've got an outdoor television show called Backwoods Backstage. So we're entering our 4th season now on the Sportsman Network here in Canada, where we hunt and fish, and we film it. We've got some incredible sponsors like PV Mart and Alberta Hunter Education Association, Instructors Association. So that's really, really cool in my spare time. And then the other thing is, since we last spoke, I did buy the farm. I bought the family farm from my grandparents. And now we're really excited. We're going to put more cattle back there. I had a good conversation at the Heritage Classic with ex-Oiler and Calgary Flame Curtis Glencross, who does a lot of ag-based investments. So my hope is to buy, 300-400 grassers from him or through him and have them come out to the ranch. I don't have time to feed them in the winter, but we've got all this pastures. So there's a lot of shit going on, but I'm loving it.
Okay. I gotta go back to this while I'm thinking of it, but I want to talk family ranch, and like you guys are 5th generation up there. Like you've been around a long time, but I gotta go back to the tour side of things because, on our, like we do these bull riding events and a lot of the decent sized venues. Like we're actually in Rogers next weekend in Edmonton. That's our Canadian PBR finals, right? So PBR Canada finals are there, and we were just in Saskatoon at the SaskTel, and some of the biggest crowds ever coming to these shows now. But like we're on the tour there, and I have a set of gear that goes to those shows. But I wonder, like, my question, and I was talking with Dustin, I was like, do you think that you get sick of playing the same songs all the time? Like, I wonder about the artists, and I haven't asked many people this. Like, what are your like they're your songs, and you're playing your own songs, but like, do you get tired of playing the same ones all the time, or do you guys just kind of like? I know I did ask Corb about it, and he has hand signals for the different songs that he has. So the band, they just kind of play as they go, but like there's got to be set lists at time. But like, what's your thoughts on that? Like, I feel like I gotta play different stuff as a music guy, like as a DJ, because I like get sick of the same music all the time. So what's your head like on that?
I think the difference, between you and I in that regard is that as a DJ, these songs aren't yours. So you don't really have a connection to them. So because of that, it would make perfect sense that you'd get sick of it. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I love George Strait and Brooks and Dunn and Garth Brooks songs, but if I have to hear Neon Moon a million times, you could definitely get tired of it. That being said, for me, why I'm also different than many artists, because every country singer I talk to definitely gets sick of certain things. That's why, John Cougar Mellencamp apparently never plays Jack and Diane anymore. Just sick of it. Won't do it.
Really?
And to me, that kind of bothers me a little bit as a fan and also as an artist, because that's what we do. That's what we got into this for. So I'll do different versions of these songs, but it actually is a different version every freaking single time I play. And the reason why it's a different version is because sometimes I got to do an intimate version of this song because I'm just playing to, 100 people at a really beautiful fundraiser. Everybody's dressed up and it's just the who's who of Toronto. And I'm going to do Airwaves in a really unique way because it's just me and my guitar. Or I'm doing Airwaves and it's the last song of the night and I'm opening for Tim McGraw at Craven at Country Thunder. in front of 31,000 people, it feels different. It sounds different. It is different. So I can play the same song every night, time and time again, but I have this different mentality in the band. And I'll throw more solos, or I always change up my set list. My band knows that I'll do kind of the first 2 or 3 songs to start off the show. That's pretty typical and standard. And the rest, I swear to God, is heads up hockey. It's heads up hockey. Whatever I'm wanting to do. And that's what keeps us all fresh. So it's fun. It's actually fun if some of the guys, which is rare, but some of the guys make a mistake or are a little bit flustered. It's fun. It gives us something to talk about. Or it's even more fun when I call this random song or this cover, we're going to do Blue Clear Sky by George Strait. And we haven't done this one since I was 19 years old. We know it, but we've never done it, in 15 years. And we play it and it sounds better than the record. And you just got to high five the guys and be like, that's why my band is the best, So no, to answer your question, even though I was long-winded, no, I never get tired.
That's a cool answer, because I've always wondered that.
I was curious.
The other question I had, when I always wonder, is, do you remember the moment or what song it was, the first time that you were able to get the crowd to sing your own lyrics? And I always think that's got to be like the moment where you think, geez, I've had to have made it, because now the crowd is taking it and singing it. Do you ever remember the first time that really happened for you?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I would give this particular gig the credit. It was at Adelaide Hall in downtown Toronto during Canadian Music Week. So multi-genre, not the Junos, not the CCMAs, just Canadian Music Week. And it was in May, and 3-2-1 was climbing up the charts, but it wasn't even top 10 yet. So I started, we played the song. And by the time, we get to the chorus, everybody's singing along. So I got the band to, slow down and let the crowd sing the chorus. And it's a small club of maybe, 600 people, but there was probably 800 people in a 600 person club. Like, they were on top of each other. And they were singing 3-2-1 chorus back to me. And I was so proud of that moment. It was a little bit emotional too, because that's what you hope for, as a country artist, is to experience that.
And it's probably hits a little when you're in front of 30,000 at Craven.
Oh yeah, there's
seen some videos
nothing
from
like
there.
it.
It looked wild. I seen some videos of your show there. It looked crazy.
And I love it. I love to perform, and honestly, whether it's my songs or every now and then, we've got some really good covers, in our back pocket, that if we feel it's a good time to break it out, we'll do John Denver, Thank God I'm a Country Boy, and we do a banger version of that. Or Garth Brooks, Callin' Baton Rouge. I started also doing a competition between the Cowboys and the Cowgirls in the crowd. And, I really want the Cowboys to win, but they never do. And so if the girls win, I'm going to do all of the girls' favorite songs. But if the guys win, we're going to do an all dude medley of songs. And like 10 shows in a row, we never get to do the guy medley of like, John Michael Montgomery, Clay Walker. Is going to be this 90s country medley. So the girls always win. And we do, Jody Messina, Dina Carter, Reba, Trisha Yearwood, and Shania. So that is really cool. Just having everybody sing along to those songs and have these girls melt, because I'm doing a Shania song.
Cool. What about, we, in the live event business, there's, I don't know. I feel like the average of the really great shows to the ones that are like, yeah, that's, it's pretty good. Then there's one like, oh, this was really a struggle at times. Like, what is that ratio like for you? And I'm thinking you're on the higher side with Joy being the point now, but like a lot of people don't, and a lot of people probably don't know what's going on the stage and with the audio side of things, unless it's a real wreck. But like, I just feel like some people will say, oh, that was a great show. And then I was like, yeah, well, I thought this part was rough or this part was tough. But like, what's that like for you on your side of it? I'm really interested on that side.
I'm very, I'm very, very hard on myself, and I really strive to, have the best possible show and the best possible product for anybody's going to spend $50 or $100 or whatever to come see us play, especially in a day and age where there is so much variety and country music is so strong right now. That, there's probably in Calgary tonight, there's probably 8 different country events that are going on, and it's only middle of the week. So I'm very hard on myself. And at the beginning of this tour, my show in Prince George, my show in Brooks last weekend, I know the crowd enjoyed it. And it's tough for me to actually say this, but like I got back to the hotel and I called 2 nights in a row. I called a meeting with my band and my crew. And I said, this is unacceptable. This really didn't go over well. We really got to tighten up this aspect of the show. And I take, honestly, probably 98% of the ownership. So it's an opportunity for me to tell everybody like, hey, we all know it wasn't good. And these are the reasons why. And I take ownership of pretty much all of them. Either I talked too long or the set list wasn't right, or we wanted to do 2 sets to have an intermission. And that was a stupid choice because you lose momentum. So yeah, it happens actually a lot for me. But then once we get it right and we have our recipe for success, then holy shit, we milk it. And then we'll go a year, an entire year without a bad show.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting. It's funny to think because I had friends that were at your show in Brooks and they were like, it was so great. It was amazing. They absolutely loved it. So to hear the backside of it and being in live events and sports, we all know it's not always a home run, or we don't feel like it is sometimes, but
I have this analogy, fellas, that we go out there like as if it's a sports team mentality. Like we go out there to win, that's 100%. We want to go out there and we want to win. We want to win the affection and the love of the audience. We want to win in that market. If there's other events going on in town that night, we want to make sure that ours was the most memorable and ours was the best. It's not a conceited thing. It's not to shit on anybody else. It's just that we just strive for excellence. So that's very, very important for us. And even though, I'm very grateful that your friends who are in Brooks said it was a great show. They had a great time. We still won the game. I feel that we still won the game there, but it was 4-3 in overtime and we almost lost it. So that's unacceptable when we're capable of winning 10-0 every single night. Like if my band is playing to their ability, which they really do. And if our crew is on it and if I'm on it, we're unstoppable. And that's the mentality that we have. And again, I don't want it to come across as conceited. I just want it to come out as this really great confidence that I've instilled in my band to go out there and be killers. So when we don't kill it, or especially me as a leader, when I don't kill it for whatever reason, it's unacceptable.
What are your days looking like to set yourself up for success on those great show days? What are your days like?
Well, they're too busy. To be honest, I have to learn to delegate a few more things, learn not to micromanage as much as I have in the past, and focus on the things that really, really matter. How the merch is displayed, even though I'm, can be a little OCD in that regard, that's not going to make or break the show. Everybody's drunk, by the time the third song rolls around, So I need to focus on what I say and the maximum impact and what this set list really is. I have to focus on, even though I've got all this new music, I really have to focus on how much new music to shove down, my fans' throats. There's a lot of artists out there, when they've got a new record, they're going to do like 4 hits and 20 new songs. That's not a fun show. So I've realized that, I was doing too much new music in the first couple shows of my tour. So as much as I want to do this new stuff, people came to hear, started with a song, and tough times don't last, tough people do, drink about me and make a life, not a living. So I got to do that. So yeah, what does my day look like? It's really important to just settle down, do less, and focus on the things that matter.
Well, speaking of the new music, we just touched on the top, but the new album came out this past week. So this Compass project, I was really looking into it, and it's really interesting, the fact that you've been able to, make it in as one, but it's 4 different pieces and it's 4 different stories. So do you want to kind of touch on the project, the latest album being the West album, and what kind of inspired it all?
Of course. I mean, the inspiration behind the Compass project, which is essentially 4 albums that are coming out this year, it really is a creative expression and a very artistic challenge that I posed on myself to show the industry and especially show my fans and anybody who cares about my music that there's a lot more to me than the new country that I've put out over the past decade. I'm extremely proud of the success that I've had and the songs that I've released. I'm incredibly proud of that. But there are all these subgenres under the beautiful umbrella that is country music that I love. I love the singer-songwriter side, where a guy can just grab his guitar, sit around a campfire, and sing these beautiful love songs or songs about the land and songs about life. Well, I've got a bunch of those that no one's ever heard. And I want those to get out into the world. And then as the pendulum swings to the other side, under the beautiful umbrella of country music is country and Western music, authentic country, authentic Western. So I've got Western swing songs that I've written. I've got songs about cowboy themes. And I've got a song I wrote called Oil and Cattle that is not a commercial song that you're going to hear on Sirius XM, the highway, but it's a song that's really important to me and how much I love the province of Alberta and how much I love the prairies and how much I love the legacy of our family farm. So I wanted to put out a record that was like that. And there was no way, gentlemen, that I could have 2 Western songs, 2 acoustic songs, 2 new country songs, and then 2, rock and up-tempo songs on one album. It would be too disconnected. So I had this aha moment where I realized, hey, why don't I just make 4 albums that are 4 unique and important pillars to my musical life? And that's exactly what the Compass Project is. North, East, South, West. South is the Nashville record, that new country record. East is singer-songwriter. West, of course, is country and Western. And the North album is my North Star. That's the live show. So that's my greatest hits album. So that is, 17 songs or 14 songs or whatever it is. But it's all live versions of my hits that we recorded across Canada over the last few years.
So when you decided to come up with this idea, how is something like this with all these different varieties received by record company or how did the idea kind of take flight and someone say, this is really cool, let's take this and run with it?
Well, everybody told me it was too much music. Everybody told me it was too confusing, and everybody told me this will never work. But that's the reason why I wanted to do it. The minute that everybody says you can't do it is the minute I want to say, well, that's why we have to do it. The minute everybody is going in this direction and just doing 6-song EPs, that's when I'm putting out a 46-song project. So that is just so vastly different in the marketplace. My record label that I was with for 10 years, Warner Music, they were extraordinary. Some of the greatest partners a guy could ever ask for. But after we all got back from COVID, all of my team had either retired or had been fired. The music business has changed. And I had a team of, 12, 13 people that just woke up in the morning at Warner and they thought of what can we do to make Brett Kissel into a star today. That's the nature of the beast. That I had 13 people and I'm a Canadian country artist. Imagine Taylor Swift, imagine Bruno Mars. They've got 100 people worldwide or more that wake up in the morning thinking about the Bruno Mars or the Ed Sheeran business. Well, once my team was gone, I realized, it's important for me to maybe spread my wings and fly and do this on my own. Also remembering that I had the idea for the Compass Project for the last few albums that I wanted to do this. And they said, no, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. And now I'm an independent artist again. I own all my own rights. And I said, well, shit, I can do it. No one can really tell me no. My team can caution me and maybe say that they don't think it's a good idea, but I own it. So I'll do it anyways.
It seems almost kind of like buying the ranch. Like it's a bit of a gamble and it's a bit of a totally different venture, but it seems like there's some correlation there.
Well, there is, and a lot of it just comes from the word freedom. The freedom to create, the freedom to express, the freedom to try, the freedom to build. Freedom is really, really important to me. And that's something I also want to teach my kids and show my kids that, being comfortable maybe isn't the best place to be. Being a little bit out of your comfort zone or a lot out of your comfort zone gives you a real opportunity to grow. And so I'm growing a lot as a businessman. I'm growing a lot as a father. I'm growing a lot as an artist because I'm doing some things that are pretty wild, you know, and I'm just hopeful that I can look back on this chapter, 10 years from now and say, it's a good gamble, but it paid off. Or I'm young enough in the event that if all this shit doesn't work, okay, well, in 10 years from now, I'll only be 43. I don't even think I'll be half done my life at that point. Shit, I got a lot of runway left. Let's give her another go, take another crack at it. So yeah, I'm not that concerned, but freedom is a big priority for me.
And so now when the marketplace is listening to the albums and fans are getting these albums and eventually we'll have all four, how do you want people to feel, or what's the reaction you're looking for from people when they get to experience the north, south, east, and west of Brett Kissel?
I guess all I would hope for is for the majority of folks that listen to these records say, wow, that was cool. Or, wow, I didn't expect that. But as long as they can say, wow, because it's not common, that's for sure. So if someone can take a deep dive into the Western side and say, I had no idea Brett was so passionate about his Western roots, that's a victory to me. If someone can say, wow, I've only seen Brett play the live show and it's so high energy, I've never seen him, strip things back in this way like I do in the East album, well, that's a victory to me. Or if people can listen to the North record and say, oh my God, I forgot how many songs Brett had. Wow. Then that's a victory to me. But at the same time, if I don't get any of that, that's okay too.
What is the release date for the final album in the four group?
It's right around the corner. I think it's going to be like December 1st or the first Friday in December.
So essentially everything will have been released in this calendar year then.
Absolutely.
Very interesting.
We had one written down, how nervous you might get before performing those anthems. Last time we talked about the Oilers one where the mic failed and everybody was singing anyways, but like Heritage Classics, 50,000 people, probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest crowd you've ever sang in front of. And the anthem, you really don't want to F it up.
No, you don't. And my brother sent me a wonderfully encouraging text right before I'm about to go. Like he can see me as I'm about to get introduced, and I always have my phone with me and stuff like that. So my phone buzzes, and I actually thought it was my wife going to wish me good luck. But my brother and I have a funny saying that we say back to each other that my Uncle Alan did. So the inside joke is when my Uncle Alan would bring us all in for a big cattle roundup, you think he's going to get out his clipboard and he's going to make a play. Brett, you're on Gates. Jameson and Mo, you guys are going to be on the heifers. And I'm going to be running this area. I'll be calling the shots. Like, you think you're going to have a game plan from the elder statesman as you're bringing in, 1,500 head of cattle, and you got to brand them all and you got to sell them all. You have to have a game plan. And all my uncle does is he gathers everybody around. Gather around, boys. Gather around, boys. So we all listen. He says, all right, I want no fuck ups. And that's it. And then he just walks away. It is so my brother, that's what he texted me. He says, all right, now I want no fuck ups. That's what he told me.
That doesn't motivate you to kick ass. I don't know what does, right?
Yeah. So no, I don't get nervous anymore for anthems. It's because I love it so much. I feel so honored that I get to sing the greatest song in Canada, the greatest Canadian song of all time. And everybody gets to be a part of this moment together. This isn't just me singing the anthem. This is us. This is 50,000 people who love being outdoors, are so grateful that we're here. And this is Canada's game at Commonwealth Stadium. Let's all sing together. We got 90 seconds to do it. Let's enjoy this. And then my job is done. Then I get a good seat. I get to go watch the game. I love it.
Are we going to pick it up and turn it around here? Did anybody claim Campbell off waivers? Like, I'm in dire straits right now with Edmonton. I'm holding out some hope, but I'm nervous. American Thanksgiving is not that far away.
I honestly have no idea what the future is going to be of this team, and I'm the biggest fan. Like I love these guys. I love the players. I love the organization, and I'm just so shocked and so surprised because our team is not different. Arguably, I thought we made improvements in the off season. I thought Connor Brown coming in was great. I thought we got rid of some dead weight, and you know, we're ready to go. We had a chip on our shoulder from last year, and I love how angry we were. I love how angry Connor and Leon were in every summer interview. We have unfinished business. We have unfinished business. There's still one thing we got left to do. Yes, that's damn right. You know, it's like someone getting knocked down in a heavyweight championship fight, and then you're mad, and you're just going to come and you're going to tear somebody's head off. That's what I thought we were going to do. So can the Oilers get there? Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, how do we gain this confidence back? It's either Woodcroft has got to go in there like a Disney movie, and he's got to go in there and just throw chairs around and start roughing things up and grabbing guys by the collar and yanking them to their feet and just getting so aggressive that he puts the fear of God into the team. Or maybe he's got to Ted Lasso this thing, and he's just got to kill him with kindness and say, it doesn't matter, boys. We're here to have fun. You know what? Screw it. Let's all go to Vegas. Let's get drunk. We've got 2 days. It's on me. It's on the team. Let's just forget about it because we're taking this too seriously. We're gripping this stick too tight. Let's all get drunk. Let's play with hangovers on the next game, and let's all play guilty and whatever, boys. You know what? Let's just go have fun. Like it's got to be one or the other. I don't know, because whatever's going on right now, it's not working.
Option 2 sounds pretty good.
Yeah. Do they need they almost need to have some cage rage matches, like put the gloves on, put the helmets on, and just like fight it out. Like if there's some tension in the room, maybe some of that is some of the issue. I don't know. I wonder. Just sort out the shit. I don't want to worry about the Flames.
Yeah, we won't
Sorry,
talk about
Dustin.
my team.
We'll just roll on.
We'll carry on because we're in the same boat.
Okay.
I'd just one last question.
Okay, yeah, go
music
ahead.
related. I think you got a Savage sitting behind you on the counter. It is November. Does Brett Kissel have any time to get any hunting or anything in November?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's some of our guns there. I was just doing a little inventory and taking a couple pictures. But yeah, I got my big buck up there.
Oh, that's awesome.
I got that guy up in Saskatchewan at Buck Paradise. He's a beauty. Like look at his left side here. Like look at how tall that is, eh? You know?
Nice buck.
So I just love him. Yeah, I get a chance to do some hunting. I'm actually going to Buck Paradise here on Thursday, and I'll go there for a week. So I'm really looking forward to that. What else can I show you? I got 2 others here on this side of the house. Here, I got 2 other bucks here.
Oh yeah.
So those are nice guys, some nice white tails. So yeah, and I got that 22 here for coyotes. We had a coyote get in and take a few of our chickens, and my wife's favorite chicken is named Elvis. And Elvis is no longer for this world. Elvis has left the farm. And so
he has left the building.
Yeah, he's left the building. He's left the barn. So we're waging war on the coyotes here.
Predator
so, yeah, I got
control.
predator control.
What about the jersey collection back there? You walk by the jersey collection. We gotta go.
Oh yeah, sure.
Some of those. There's probably
I'm at this
Dragon jersey in there.
Yeah,
too.
this is my office. So these are all the anthems I've ever done.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I keep them all there, and I've got all my Oiler anthems here and everything. But I did a couple cool ones like Team Canada. This one's really cool here. This one's and like I'm gonna do a sports room downstairs when we finish our basement. We have two houses on the property. I'm in the second house right now, and so when we finish that basement, it's going to be an all sports room, pool table, and I'm going to get a bunch of these jerseys, framed. And I got some real cool ones, like my dad's old hockey sweater here from the Glendon Comets, and my dad so I've got that. I know exactly what I'm going to do. But yeah, I love this. I definitely have Drumheller Dragons somewhere here. Let me see. It would be that's Thunder Bay North Stars. I got a Calgary Hitmen, U of A Golden Bears, Brooks Bandits.
Can't say Brooks.
Yeah,
Bandits.
I don't know. It might take a minute, but they're all here because that's an orange one, right?
Yeah,
it's white and orange,
and maybe some black. Right?
That would have been white.
Maybe
I think the one we gave.
Yeah, it's in there. It's in there, but I've got to have probably 150. So
that's wild.
We got to get you down, Brett. I primarily work a lot right now with the Calgary
Roughnecks.
Roughnecks, our National Lacrosse League team. I don't know if you've been to many games, but we'll have to get you down and get you out on the floor.
I would love that. You know, it's interesting. I've never been to a lacrosse game ever.
Oh,
well, we got to connect because they are a party. Our tagline is "Come for the party, stay for the game," and they're wild. I know you'd especially like it.
Be a good one. We'll have to,
that would be great.
might have to talk to Keenan on that one. Get him hooked up, eh?
Yep.
That's the first
Absolutely.
contact? Yeah. Okay, you've done media all day. What have you not talked about yet that you would want to talk about? Like, I wonder where your head's at, and like, what have you like wanted to get to? Like, I wish somebody asked me this, like, but you haven't done it, haven't got there yet. Like any of it,
fellas. You already won the game. We talked a lot of hockey, and we talked about shooting deer. I got to show you my jerseys. Like, are you kidding? Like, this is just not your typical conversation, and that's what I enjoy so much about it, because the questions I got today were, so tell me about your new music.
Yeah.
Or tell me how you got your start. Well, it's like, it's a long story where where do you want me to start? You know what I mean? So it was great that
hanging out with
that
Danny
this conversation
Hooper
was like that. Yeah, exactly.
Well, do you know what I think, Brett's really cool about you, and I follow your social, and I think the fact, and I see videos of popping up on stages with other artists at country bars, and you're just so approachable and personal. And I think that the fact that how you do such a good job of telling your story about who you are, like even for me outside of music, I know you're into hockey, and I know you hunt and things like that. And I think that makes me a bigger fan of your music, just
Thank you.
because you get to know the person that you are, and it's so genuine. I think that's what's really cool. And that's what makes me a fan of artists almost. Like, I love music, but I think that once you get to know the person and what they're about,
100%.
what they stand for, makes me such a much bigger fan of the music.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And I think there's just a lot of great artists that don't take themselves too seriously. Like, Blake Shelton, Luke Bryan, list goes on of guys who just love to have a good time. I live a very blessed life. I'm very, very lucky that I get to do what I do. So it's important to have fun with it. Again, like I said, prioritize joy. And then the biggest thing is just spread the love. Brandon Lorenzo, give him another shout out. He's just a great artist. He's a good guy, great voice. And I was driving down, the road on 17th Ave during the Calgary Stampede, and he was doing an outdoor set. So he and I are good buddies. Like, I knew I was either going to surprise him or scare him, but I just walked up on stage and we sang Brown Eyed Girl together. Like, that's just a fun moment. And I did that in Nashville the other day. Some buddies of mine were playing at Legends Corner, and we just walked in, and tip jar came around, and I threw a Canadian dollar bill, and he looked up at me. He's like, Kiss, what are you doing? You got to get up on it. So it was just a lot of fun. And I just love doing that stuff. I really, really do.
What about the boots on your shelf there? Those look like they might be Grandpa's boots.
Yeah, they are. That's exactly, those were Grandpa's boots. Where are they? Right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, Grandpa's boots. He wore them at our wedding, and he wore them for special occasions. And so when he passed away, he wanted they were going to bury him in the boots. And then my Uncle Alan said, no. He says, you and Grandpa have the same size feet. He says, why would we put those, something along the line, why would we put those in the ground when you can have them? So I always thought about wearing them, but I kind of like having them on display because I've talked about them several times. Here, this one's interesting. In my office, my other Grandpa Bear, I call him. I wrote him a letter for Christmas. I wrote my grandparents letters one Christmas instead of giving them a gift, and my grandpa wrote me back, and he put it in the mail and everything like that. Just proud he is of me and how much. And so there's a picture of us when I was about 16 or 17, maybe. We're chasing cattle or doing stuff like that, and yeah, so just a lot of memories. This one was cool. This came out of nowhere. I got the Queen's Diamond Jubilee Medal, whatever, for outstanding contributions to the province of Alberta. That one was wild. I thought they give that to old guys, old guys who are retired or philanthropists and stuff like that. But I got one, so that was
Surely
pretty
you
cool.
can wear that and get free drinks wherever you go now. Is that
Yeah,
what kind of it's like,
Go to the
I'm-
bar in St. Paul.
I'm gonna put that to the test. I'm gonna put that on my lapel next time I get all gussied up, and I'm gonna wear it.
You just mentioned philanthropist, and Dustin had a question about Brett Wilson. He knows you guys are buddies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I guess well, how do we get him on the show first off? But you guys got a pretty fun relationship, it looks like. I see you guys do the concert out in the boat, and I'm sure he's probably been a bit of a someone you can go to when it comes to all the ventures you're on.
Well, he's an incredible friend, probably one of the best friends I've ever had. And there's only one person in my life that checks off all these boxes. He's a best friend when I need a best friend. He's a father figure when I need a father figure. He's a business mentor when I need that. He's like an uncle and a brother, and he's all of that rolled into one human being. And he, every different day, will be somebody different to me and whatever I need in that moment. I kind of can't believe that for someone who's born in 1957 and me born in 1990, that our friendship is as strong as it is. Like, if Cecilia and I married each other again, 100% he'd be in my wedding party. Like, I just love him so much. He's helped me out in so many ways. I mean, I live in his condo in Nashville. I've rented that place for 12 years now, and that's our home in Nashville. Many of the biggest moments in my life, I can trace back to somebody I met or a circumstance that was presented to me thanks to Brett.
No way.
So absolutely. If you'd like him on your show, I'll text him right away and say, hey,
you got to because he's us, though.
Oh shit. Let's do a two-parter. One, just him, and let's see what he says about me. Because I'm here like I'm gushing, man, he's just one of my best friends, and Brett's gonna be like, yeah, I don't know. I've been trying to get rid of this guy, but he's he's a stage 5 clinger. Like, we got to see what he's gonna say first.
Okay. And then we'll have you in the waiting room, and then once we get the verdict, then we'll surprise. We'll surprise you in. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be hilarious.
We probably already kept you too long. You probably get to your next piece, but we asked you last time what your definition of cowboy shit was. It's kind of fun to update those sometimes. So I'm kind of curious where that fits for you. It's probably a little closer with owning the ranch now and about to have a bunch of cows on the property. So it's gonna get a little more Western around the Kissel place soon. It sounds like even more Western.
We talked a lot about joy. We talked a lot about freedom, and I think cowboy shit is having a free spirit, free to do what it is that you want to do, but always choosing, and making the correct decision in that moment, or at least having the attitude that is your intention. So that is something that is unique to the cowboy, and the cowboy way of life is that obviously they've got the freedom to do whatever it is that they want. All these songs are about it, but the cowboy way, in so many different ways, is always about helping out somebody else and a bigger situation, something that is bigger than yourself. So I look up to the cowboys who do that kind of cowboy shit.
I like it.
Thanks for doing this, Brett. Appreciate it.
Well, thanks, fellas.
Just poured myself a strong one. Hey, boys, get out the cards. Shuffle up and deal them out. I just cut the ace of hearts. Be careful what you lead with. Don't give away your hand, cause I'll rope you right into a run and peg 8 or 9 or 10. Looking at your face, looks like you don't like what you see. Whoa, son, looky there, looks like you got 19. Well, 15 to a pair for 4, I got a flush for 8. I pegged you back and you bet your ass I'm hot out of the gate. I'm looking for that 29, just give me that Kissel cut. Well, 24 will have to do, looks like you're getting skunked. No, I can't think of anything I love doing more than this, than drinking whiskey with the boys and kicking ass at crib.
So once again, for those that don't know, you can get Brett's new music wherever music is found. It's on all the channels. You can find it everywhere. And if you can't find it, you're probably doing something wrong. So make sure to check him out on his website, though, Brett Kissel, and all the Spotify's. Make sure to buy the music too, folks. Got to support the artists. So thanks again for Brett taking the time doing the show with us.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. We originally had like, I think they told us like 20 to 30 minutes with Brett, and
yeah,
he kept it rolling, and I thought it was cool. He's picking up his phone and taking us through his house, showing us his deer heads and his jersey collection. And then, you know, when he said to us, you know, like, oh, sorry it took so long, and hopefully that was good. And he's like, man, like, everybody's so like structured with their interviews, like, tell us how you started singing and tell us about your song. He's like, I just had so much fun just shooting the shit. And so I think he had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. So
yeah, it was awesome. And you get to go see his show this week in Calgary with the CPO. That's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
I wish I could make it too. That'll be fun. Did you guys got hooked up and you're heading down there?
Yeah, we're gonna go check that out. I believe the Jack Singer. So should be
awesome.
should be super cool. So yeah, be a lot of fun.
Awesome. Okay, I got one more thing before. A couple more things. We got. We'll talk about Sylvan. Talk about Edmonton. What else? And then but one thing I want to get to though, the Agribition. I know we talked about Agribition and the rodeo, and actually, it's funny thing happened. So the CEO of the Agribition called me on Sunday. He texted me. He's like, "Hey, can we talk here soon?" And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely. I'm at home today. You know, give me a shout anytime." He's like, "Well, we got this bullfight coming up at the at the start of Agribition, and they're doing freestyle bullfighting, and they're also doing I don't know how to say this.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know how to say it. It says it's RECOTADORES. Recotadors. But so anyways, like the bullfighters are going to compete in their events, and these guys are going to compete in the freestyle as well. So it's going to be like pretty crazy, but it's going to be on the 21st of November, 7:00 at the Exhibition. Freestyle bullfighting presented by Brant at the Brant Center. What's it going to be? Man against Spanish fighting bulls and the top contenders in the sport. Vie for precious points in the season standings. But they're going to do an authentic Spanish concurso de rectores. So I don't know what that means. Spanish. Yeah, but they're not going to kill the bulls. It's not going to be like full Spanish bullfighting where they kill the bulls. So that is not what's happening, but it's some sort of authentic Spanish, some sort of something in Regina, but it's going to be totally new.
Yeah. Our editor, Sean Morton's going to be on the music for that event.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. So there's still tickets available for that. Actually a cool, like, what do you call it? Like VIP experience. Tickets are available at agribition.com, but $75 for the first 2 rows, which include a meet and greet with the bullfighters. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. So anyways, Sean Kindrop from Agribition gave me a shout and asked us to kind of mention it. So I said we'd give it some love on the show. So if you're in Regina at Agribition, you might want to check that thing out. I did mention my thoughts on the rodeo segment, but we'll leave that for another time.
Yes, but one cool thing is, and I've worked with him the last couple of weeks, is Robert Schmidt, the favorite son of the CCA. He's going to be there on the mic this year for the first time. So wanted to give him a shout out. Yeah, happy to see.
Congrats to Robert.
Yeah, and him and Dennis will be working there. So good to have some Canadian content in there.
I'm surprised that Denny's back after getting canceled a couple of years ago over his Trudeau bus driving joke.
It never did keep him from going to that event, but yeah.
Okay, so talk about Sylvan last week. You were at a finals event there a couple weeks ago, or last weekend.
Yeah, BRC finals were there, and it was awesome. Actually, I was working with Robert Schmidt there and Sean Morton.
And Sean,
Denny was there, Tanner Gerlitz, the feature productions crew. So it was kind of a nice familiar crew. Nice. They sold the bull riding out both nights. They absolutely packed the Sylvan Lake Arena, and the first night they rode 12 bulls. I think the second night they rode another 9 or 10.
Right on.
You know, it's a really good event. Denver Leach, who just came from the CFR and the novice bareback, won the $10,000 finals check. So
no way.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Rode really good, and there were some really good young guys that were riding bulls. Bo Gardner was the national champion.
Yep,
and
he had a hell of a year.
Yeah, he won $54,000 in the BRC this year. So he won some big money.
Dang.
Yeah, and that Denver Leech won 13,000 there this weekend. So pretty cool to see the young kids doing well. And they brought a really good pen of bulls, just some nice little spinners. Got lots of rides. The crowd there was very much a party crowd, and
Yep.
and they loved it. So yeah, tip of the hat to everybody in Sylvan Lake. It was a hell of a good show.
Awesome. Well, and then wrapping up kind of, I guess, my year on the music side of things this weekend is Edmonton. One of the somebody was joking about how one of the only like national titles that gets handed out in Edmonton now is our PBR Canada title because the Oilers have been so bad lately. So hopefully they have won a game or two by then. I think there's a game actually tonight that's going on right now, which they are hopefully still at least tied or not losing too badly. But then then there's another game Wednesday. So there's two games. There's one tonight and then again on Wednesday night. So kind of wild. And then we get the building like I think 6 a.m. on Thursday, and then we'll have a bull ride in there Friday night, which is kind of wild. So like the dirt goes in and it's a pretty tight turnaround. So kind of cool to be in that venue though, right? Pretty unreal.
Wow. I seen the field got announced at 21 that are coming. So
yeah. Pretty solid list. I think I picked Cover Truck quite a while ago to win it. It's going to come down to quite a bit, but like Cody, like I think he broke his hand in Saskatoon, didn't get on in the final round there, and then went to Yorkton, I guess, and just rode all four of his bulls and did quite well. So riding with like a broken hand, I guess. So interesting though. Nick Tetz is really close. There's a ton of points available. So I think the top 12 are still technically in the race, which I don't know if I love it.
Butters riding.
Yeah, he's there. He just took the CFR off. Unfortunately for him, he didn't get to compete there, but he'll be contending for the $100,000 prize there in Edmonton. It's gonna be a fun weekend. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, you guys will have a good show, and judging by that list, there'll be a lot of good bull rides. So
absolutely, yeah. And you got like, I don't know how he's in it. I guess I didn't look at the standings very closely, or I don't know. Might be like a invite kind of thing. But Silvano Alves is back again, 3-time world champion. Yeah, he's not in the standings. It must be some sort of invite thing. Connor Halverson's the last qualifier.
He rode last year there too, didn't he, Silvano?
Yeah. But Dalen Swearingen, also world champion. So 2 world champs and 2 Aussies are coming too, which is kind of neat. The top 2 guys in the Australian standings, Lachlan Richardson and a new guy, something Leather. I haven't seen his name a ton yet. Let me see what the heck it is to get it right. Macaulay Leather from Queensland, Calliope, Queensland. So interesting, but cool to do that little like switcheroony where you got, top 2 Canadians, like whoever finishes the top 2, or maybe just Nick and Cody, they get to go to Australia, and then the top 2 guys in Australia get to come to our finals. And then the other 2 must be world champion invites. That must be it. So
yeah, it's cool for sure. And some good bull races there. I seen they're going to retire Happy Camper this week at the PBR.
Yeah, heck of a run for Happy.
Yeah, so some good stories.
Yeah, going to be a great weekend. You'll be able to catch it on TSN. If you don't watch it live, it'll be 2 weeks after. It'll be all on TSN as well. So, shaping up for me a good couple weeks. And then what? Then we're American Thanksgiving to all our friends south of the border, and then right into the NFR. So the next show will be the week before the NFR kind of thing. And, so we'll catch up with you all then, Dust? You got anything else here?
No, I'm all good, Ted. It's good, Epi. Yeah. And, everyone have a fun week in Edmonton.
Yeah. And wherever else you are, everybody, have fun out there, and we'll see you soon. Thanks again to Sean Morton, editor, keeping everything on track, keeping us sounding good out there. Storm, thanks for all the graphics, kicking butt on all that stuff, making it look great. Anything else, Dustin? Thanks to you for doing the show. Thanks for joining in.
Thanks for accepting my Zoom request, and thanks for Brett Kissel for the great show.
100%. Okay, well, have a good weekend out there, Dust. We'll see you soon. See you back at HQ tomorrow.
You bet.
Headlights burning up the highway, cigarette hanging off my lip. Mama, I ain't seen the light of day since I met some habits I can't kick. It's a dark night, I don't know if I'll make it out on my own. Sunrise to sunrise, everything's a blur behind the whiskey and smoke. Devil's on my shoulder, demons getting closer. All I know is I gotta ride into that dark night, ride into that dark night.